It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Miles Masercola, who represents Hoop State Network. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. A little tired after a long event, but feeling good. Excited for next weekend as well. We got the Phenom Summer Finale in Rock Hill at the great Rock Hill Sports and Event Center. So looking forward to that next weekend.
How was that experience like?
This past weekend was a lot of fun. From a talent perspective, just in the gym, it was probably the best talent we've had so far up to this point this summer. It might end up being the best we've had so far at the entire summer. You had CP3 come, Team Charlotte, Brandon Mays Elite, and Robert Dillingham was always spectacular, and there was a ton of talent, so it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun.
Can you talk about how you got your start in sports writing?
Yeah, so sports are always a passion of mine, but basketball really became a passion of mine in high school. When I was a manager, I went to Middle Creek High School, graduated in 2015. So being around the game, after high school, I knew I wanted to be involved in some capacity. Had been in newspaper class in high school, kind of figured out like, hey, I want to do something in the media space. And the quickest thing for anybody to do is to start writing because there's no cost if you already have a computer. It's very, very easy to do. So I started a website called State of Hoops North Carolina right around the start of 2017. Ran that for a year, started a podcast about 8 months into it with my friend Ian Pierno, who works for Slam Magazine now full-time. He lives in LA and is doing a great stuff for himself and that company. And then Jamie Shaw and Rick Lewis. Rick Lewis runs Phenom still. Jamie Shaw was with Phenom up until around March. They gave me an opportunity to work for them. They hired me at the John Wall Holiday Invitational in 2017, and I've been with Phenom ever since.
Can you talk about how you got your start in sports reporting?
Yeah, so it really started with that when I started State of Hoops. I had gone and covered some games in the Raleigh area. That's where I was living at the time. I'm in Charlotte now because that's where I go to school now. So I remember the first game I covered, it was Moses Wright at Enloe, who had kind of not really blown up yet, who's at Georgia Tech now, and Carson McCorkle, who's a name I'm sure you know, who's at Virginia, and they played against each other. That was the first game I ever wrote about, and it was just – I was always pretty comfortable talking. I'm pretty good. I've always been a people person, so talking to people, doing interviews and stuff like that is something that's always come pretty natural to me. And then kind of as I got more and more involved within stuff going on in North Carolina, I was able to develop relationships, and that helped me with reporting and getting information and stuff like that.
How was the experience like being the director of recruiting for Hoop State Network?
It's fun. It's kind of what I do. It's a title that Webb Wellman gave me more than anything else, to be honest with you. So that's really what it is. But really for the Hoop State, I broadcast games with Rod and Ant, who are both unbelievable. And then I kind of help I almost look at myself as an assistant director to Webb in a lot of ways when it comes to the content. And being able with my work with Phenom, being really on the grassroots of things, knowing what all these kids are doing, being at all these events, being in the gym a lot, helps me kind of have a pulse of what's going on in North Carolina from a recruiting standpoint. Rod and Ant and Webb and Donnie are all very involved in that aspect of it as well, as well as Ray Masonette, who does a little bit of everything for us. So I guess that's kind of a title that Webb gave me. I know that's what it is in our contract, but it's really more of just a title for me, and I do a little bit of everything, but it's a whole lot of fun what we're doing at the Hoop State Network.
How has sports writing for Phenom Hoops helped you?
It's helped me a lot. It's helped me in a lot of different things. It's helped me understand the need to get things done on time. The fact that, when you're one of the Phenom scouts at an event, you're locked in on your court or your two courts, and you're making sure that those kids get the coverage that they deserve. If someone's playing well, you got to lock in and make sure you get those articles out, because college coaches and other scouts are relying on your information to do the recruiting, especially in a time like this when they can't come evaluate in person. So that's helped me a lot. It's helped me academically, ironically enough, because it's helped me become a better writer in a lot of ways. Even though what I'm writing about is sometimes simple with the scouting stuff, it's helped me expand my game a little bit to bring it back to the sports thing. But that's pretty much it. It's been a lot of fun.
How is the experience like being a Phenom Hoops scout, going with to see all these college coaches and being around them?
It's fun. It's interesting. I feel like in scouting, you're always evolving, whether that's someone that's been doing it for around 3 to 4 years like myself, or someone that's been doing it like Tom Konkowski, who just retired, who's one of the most legendary scouts in the country. He did it for, I don't even know, 60 plus years, it feels like. And I'm sure he could say the same thing, that every year, he probably looks back and say, I probably could have thought about that one differently. I'm evolving here, I'm evolving there. And it's also provided an access for me to the college coaches and establish relationships with them. And, after events, my week typically exists with a lot of phone calls with those coaches. And it's helped me also get to know a lot of the players as well, and see the way the game of basketball is evolving in its own. More 3-point shooting, more pace and space, less post up, less bully ball. But it's been really cool to see the talent, the vast amount of talent in the state of North Carolina.
Who are some of your inspirations when it comes to scouts?
When it comes to scouts, I mentioned Tom Konkowski. He's obviously kind of an OG. Evan Daniels, who actually just got out of the scouting industry and is working now with CAA as a college basketball coach's agent. He's someone that has been really, really helpful to me. I look at Rick Lewis and the way that he handles himself, and it's been super, super impressive. Back to Evan, he a guy like that who's super big time on Fox Sports 1 and stuff like that does not need to be talking to a kid like me. So me and him had a good relationship. We talked to the John Wall a lot. You look at a lot of other people in this industry, like everyone in this industry does a really, really good job. Another guy I admire a lot is Anthony Bruton. He does a lot of the film stuff, and he does some scouting work as well. The fact that he is willing to just go out and go to the areas that people don't want to go to and see kids that people don't typically see, and is willing to share information and make sure that everyone stays in the loop. He's a great asset to everyone in North Carolina and Georgia and wherever he's covering. So you look at people like that. Jeff Bendel, one of my coworkers, is an absolute machine. Like a kid, he just churns out write-ups on kids, and they're super detail-oriented. He really takes great pride in his work. And there's, I'm sure, so many that I didn't name that do a great job around the country.
Can you talk about your time at Pac Pride as a writer?
Yes. Yeah, so working for Pac Pride's been a lot of fun. Corey Smith, my editor there, I reached out to him last June, kind of looking to get into covering some college stuff. And I was like, hey, do you guys need a recruiting and basketball analyst? He's like, yeah, we do. Chris Corciani Jr., he had been working with them, and he left. He took a full-time job in a different industry. So I was like, you know what? I might as well take this opportunity. I have the time, find a way to make it work, and it's giving me access to a lot of cool stuff, like going to ACC Media Days, going to cover NC State basketball, going to the ACC tournament, even though I was like right in the thick of everything as everything got shut down from Corona. But it's been a cool experience, and it's been something I'll cherish for a long time.
How was that experience like covering NC State football and basketball games?
So I don't really cover football, but for basketball, it opens up a new world, because obviously high school and AAU, it's a little more casual. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's not quite as well organized, just because the budget isn't there to make everything the way it is. So when you go and cover a big-time ACC game, it almost feels like a professional atmosphere. You're getting locker room access. You have an SID guiding you around. You're in the arena. You're on the floor. So it's an entirely different kind of experience doing that. And it's a whole lot of fun. It's been interesting to see how that side of the world is, because I've come from the AAU side, but it's been fun.
Can you talk about your time at 24/7 Sports?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, the Pac Pride is really 247 is the umbrella that Pac Pride is under. So I do stuff with, like, I put my crystal ball in on some guys, try to make my recruiting predictions, but my work is really with Pac Pride, and some of it ends up on 247 if they think it's worthy of getting read on like the homepage or something like that. I don't even know if any of my work has ever gotten there, but it really, Pac Pride's just under that umbrella.
What advice would you give upcoming sports writers looking to get into the profession?
I would say make sure that you're connecting with people of all levels. Make sure that you handle yourself the right way, and don't be afraid to call people out on things if you don't think it's the right thing. Stand up for yourself, do your work, be detail-oriented, and have fun. Like, I don't think people understand, like, this isn't supposed to be boring. This isn't supposed to be something that you have to dread doing. You're got into sports writing because you want to have fun doing it. So enjoy yourself, and that's basically it. It's not super super complicated.
What advice would you give upcoming sports analysts looking to get into the profession?
Same thing. I mean, to be real with you, they're one and the same. I think when you're doing live broadcasting and stuff like that, kind of like we do, you always have to be mindful of what you're saying in the moment. I've had moments where it's like, why did I say that? I'm sure anybody else has had those moments too. But like I said, they're really all one and the same. If you just do things the right way and treat people the right way, typically things will work out for you.
Where do you see your future going in this business?
Well, since the Hoop State Network partnered with JB Fitzgerald, and now we all have ownership stakes, and there's a legitimate track for this company to grow a lot in the next few years and beyond. All my eyes are really set on that, and making sure that we can grow the Hoop State Network to something that we never thought it would be when we started it, a little over a year and a half ago. And that's kind of been what my focus is on. And also just keeping up my quality of work with Pac Pride and Phenom Hoops, and making sure that I have a good, proper balance for myself between personal life, work life, and I'm able to live a happy and healthy life moving forward and doing what I love to do for the long term.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
On Twitter at Masercola Miles, Masercola Miles, and then on Instagram you can flip-flop that at Miles Masercola. I don't really use Facebook. That's for old people. No offense if you're on Facebook, but that's really about it. You can find me there, and then on YouTube, my work is on the Hoop State Network, and then go to pacpride.com, become a premium subscriber if you want to really get all the details and stuff like that. And then on phenomhoopreport.com, you can find my other work there as well.
Thank you again, Miles Masercola, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Appreciate it, Brandon. Best of luck back to you as well.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.